Do you remember the MiniDisc? Back in 2001, for one reason or the other, I was obsessed with the idea of having or owning a MiniDisc recorder, a portable Sony recorder. I was 16 at the time, and instead of wanting like a Vespa or a motorbike, I wanted a MiniDisc recorder, a Sony one. I have no idea why. I can't get back into the mindset of 16-year-old Julian, but I wanted a Sony MiniDisc recorder. So, my dad paid 12,000 Belgian francs, which is $300, back in 2001, April, I think. And this was the very first I got. Now, full disclaimer, this won't be a technical review. I know nothing about the ins and outs, the technical specs of MiniDisc. I just love the format. So don't expect anything technical. It's just a love letter to the format of MiniDisc. Be prepared. If you hate noob explanations, if you hate nerdy things like this, just quit watching now. Not technical, nothing. Just love. Love for the MiniDisc. Jump cut, my 3-year-old son needed my attention. Yeah, I just put him in bed. Anyway, so yeah, just love for MiniDisc, nothing technical. Sadly, this player died in 2003. I even remember why, because I'm a nerd. May 2003, Roman holiday. Well, not the movie, but a class trip to Rome, and well, it fell, and it hasn't worked since. Now, the first one I used it to death, as you can see. One of the hinges is even missing a screw. There's literally a screw loose, not just with me, but with the MiniDisc. Yeah, just an overall excellent machine. One AA battery, so hours and hours of recording, and playback was insane, like 60 hours. Great stuff. Use it to death. You can even charge the battery with the machine. I loved details like that. Then the second one I got, back in the day, of course, normally, because I was such a fan, you'd think that I would replace it immediately, but well, I didn't have the funds, student. So I had to wait 2 years. In 2005, I got my second MiniDisc. And this is the one I still use daily. So as you can see, there's even a disc inside. It's the, I don't know anything about numbers. It's the MZ-NH700. Yeah, again, great little machine. Love the jog wheel. This was the very first high MD audio, so you could theoretically, sorry, you can still hear my son in the background. You could theoretically record 45 CDs on a 1 gigabyte disc. Never tried that. Just always. I'm a mono guy, by the way. I always record in mono because you have twice the size of the disc. So mono all the way. Love me some Beatles in mono. Yeah, what always surprised me as well is there's a French sentence saying that extended listening sessions can damage the ears, but it's only in French. Why not in Dutch? I mean, we live in it's a bilingual country. Well, actually a trilingual country. It's so weird that they only put the warning in French. As if Dutch-speaking people can't damage their ears. Yeah, excellent machine. Love it. Still works. Never used the USB thingy. Always analog recordings. Yeah, just I love it. It's a great, I mean, look at this. It's 19 years old and it works like a charm. Just one AA battery. Perfect. Perfection, as Michael Fassbender or Steve Jobs would say. Then the third one I ever bought, let's see if I'm not mistaken. The third one I ever bought was this one. This is the very first, the MZ2P. This is the player only, so this is not the recorder. So the MZ2P, this was a very expensive machine back in the day. I think this was like a $400 or a $350 machine in 1992. Yeah, very first year. Funnily enough, I found it in 2009 in Antwerp, in Belgium. The official Sony store was selling old stock, so new old stock. This was I still have the box, of course, a brand new machine with the inlays, the paperwork, the box, the styrofoam. Everything was perfect, untouched by human hands. at the time, let's say 17 years after the fact, 92 to 2009. And this was just €90 or $90. So of course I jumped at the chance to pick it up. It's so heavy. It's just a player, but it's so heavy. Look at the monstrosity of the battery and just 1 hour of playtime. How did it ever take off? I mean, it cost a fortune. You could only have 60 minutes. Even the discs at the time were 60 minutes and I think 74 already, but not 80. But it's so gorgeous. Look at this. Look at this. What a monstrosity. It's so thick. How could you even market it as a successor to the CD, smaller than a CD, when it is bigger than a Walkman, than a Discman? How did they market it? Also funny that there's Japanese text on a European machine. So cool, so very cool. It's all, perhaps it's even an import because it's all Japanese. It just says Japanese and made in Japan. If anyone knows, let me know. Were they ever sold, the Japanese copies, in Belgium? Who knows? Then a year later, I got the very first. This is the recorder model. Look at how many buttons there are. It's awesome. So many buttons. This is the MZ1. And this was a great story as well. My very first boss, so the very first job, the very first gig I ever had, in 2010, I had just finished my journalism education. And the very first job I ever had was as an after-sales clerk for Toyota Material Handling. So not Toyota the cars, but Toyota the forklifts. And my boss, Veerle, I hope you're well, Veerle. My boss, Veerle, sadly her husband had passed away, and he was a big early supporter, a big early adopter of MiniDisc. So he had invested in this one. He had paid the full Monty, the $400 or the $450 in '92. He was a believer in the format, and he had the very first MZ1. And I got it for €15. Yeah, so she sold it to me because and all his discs. He even had a very rare, well, rare to me, never saw it again, never saw it then, never saw it since, a cleaning, an official MD Sony cleaning disc. Gorgeous, so sturdy, it's really heavy machines. And then the final new MiniDisc player I bought, so when the format was still current, when the format was still available, is the what's the product? The MZRH1, and this is often regarded as the Rolls-Royce of the MiniDisc line. So it's like the HLDXO for Laserdisc. This is one of the finest machines. So it's an OLED screen, and it can even record in PCM. So let's say detractors or haters of the MiniDisc format always said, well, it's not CD quality, it's not 44.1 kilohertz. This is full on one-on-one CD quality, linear PCM. I just love, listen how loud it is. Listen how loud it is when it opens. Listen. Oh, wait, let's do that again. Whoop. Let's do that again. So loud, so well made, sturdy. Also high HMD, not high H, high MD. So the 1 gigabyte discs. I think the only downside to this is the battery. I don't really like, well, my battery, what's it called? My battery clip port. I don't know the name, the thing that keeps it sealed. That was broken off because this was a store model. This was the display model, the very last the store had. So there was a big discount. I believe this was, I think it was $299 in the beginning, or even $349, and I got this for $187. Never used, but just store display copy, and with the broken off handle, door handle, battery handle, I don't know, battery cover, that's the word. So yeah, I had to tape, there's some tape, and yeah, sometimes the contact is a little loose, but yeah, I believe nowadays this is a quite an expensive piece of kit, upwards of $500 or $600. So not gonna complain about the 187 I paid. And then the very final, let's say, mint in box that I bought. So this was already after MiniDisc had been phased out, I think in 2014, perhaps 2015. I found a record store in Antwerp, the Wally's Groove World. Very cool store, give it a visit if you can. Wally's Groove World, excellent selection of 12-inch vinyl. He had a MiniDisc player in his, what do you call it, in his storefront. Is it storefront? Yeah, just in front of the store. Also unopened, well, untouched by hand, so just new old stock. This is a player only, so not a recorder. Not as loud as the MZRH1. This is the MZE20. Yeah, cool machine. Uses normal AA batteries, even though it really resembles the MZR30. And this was the first MiniDisc player I ever saw in my life. So there was a guy in my class back in '99, so when I was 15 years old, he had this one. And I remember thinking, well, that's a cool thing. I mean, look at this, it opens up the discs. There's this insane battery as well. What is this? What is this, as Jack Skellington would say. Let's see how insane battery. So they use the same form factor, but then they well, it's a little wider, which is weird because this one does not need to record and it's still bigger. But this one takes AA batteries, so it wins in ease of use, because when this one's empty, there's no way you can charge it without the official Sony charging kit. So yeah, you're forked up the ass when you're on the road. And this one, but I love this. This is probably the one I love the most, as just from a design standpoint. It's so gorgeous. Look at it, and so many buttons: track mark, end search, erase, volume, hold, open, remote. So many buttons. Look at this digital mega bass. All the models I had just the bass was an option in the menu. This has its own dedicated bass button. There's a synchro button. There's a line out. Mine never had a line out. So this is like a professional model. You could use this as a DJ. There's a display button. There's a mode button. There's a sampling rate converter in percentage. This is a cool machine. And then, so how many did I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then I just thought, let's collect portable MiniDisc Sonys. But let's not spend a lot of money. Just whenever you come across one, flea market, thrift store, auction, but never pay more than $100. That's the deal. That's the idea. So over the years, I picked up a few. Again, not a connoisseur, not a technical explanation. I know nothing, as Manuel would say. The player onlys, got this one, the MZE62. Lovely, sort of a chrome effect. This one was just €7 on a flea market. Great stuff. Sadly, this one was this one had to be connected to a what's it called? A cradle, and well, apparently. The original owner had put a AVLS barrier, so in order to not damage his ears. But I can't seem to turn it off without the proper cradle and or software. So there's no way. Ugh, the battery has leaky. No, a little. Should have removed the battery. There's no way to remove the AVLS. So when I want to use this, for example, during a party, or when I want to connect it to a speaker, the volume just never goes loud enough. So, but wasn't gonna play for €7. This one is the MZE501. Use it very, yeah, as you can see, this is the one I used a lot of. This is one I used many times because even the extra battery case is cracked. Fell out of my pocket during a bike ride. Got 4 of these. Why 4? I have no idea. These are all just players. So this is the MZE33, the MZE32, and the MZE33 in silver, and an MZE32. I have no. These are just the same. These are literally just the same. But I have no idea why there's a distinction in product number. Why is this the 33 and why is this the 32? To my eyes, it's really just the same machine. So, no idea. Really no idea. If anyone knows, let me know in the comments down below. And then the final player-only model I have looks very minty, is the MZE520 or the 520. Very nice, very minimalistic. Just a few buttons in a cross form. Yeah, this is really Sony at its finest. It's so small, it's almost just it's really not much bigger than a MiniDisc. So perfect, perfect. Gorgeous Japanese design. Then recorders, the MZR70. This is actually the model that came out. This was the final one that came out prior to the one I first got. This one was the very first MD-LP. This one isn't. So if you got this one, you can just record in mono or in stereo. This one was the first to have LP2 and LP4. And for one reason or the other, I now I don't know why, there's like a ball of lightning in my head. To me, I associate this with Gorillaz, the very first Gorillaz, the Clint Eastwood song. But yeah, this was never in their videos or something. It's just because I knew a guy, an Austrian guy, also called Julian, and he had this model and he was listening to Gorillaz all the time. Weird memory. Weird what the brain does with this is a story from 2002. This one is from one of my best friends, Pim. He gave his old NetMD Walkman, the MZN510, and use it a lot. This is one I also used many moons and hours. As you can see, a little broken off hinge. It still works. It's how does it open? Yeah. Oh, very loud as well. It still works, but I think the menu button no longer functions. You can still record, but this thing has seen things we people wouldn't believe. Attack ships on fire. From my good friend Thomas, friend of the channel, 16BitGem, I got the very cool waterproof, the G Protection NetMD. This is the MZS1, and well, you can't bathe with it, but it stands some water damage. How does it open? Oh, it's so big. And this is the one that Alizé had, you know, the French singer Alizé. I remember back in 2003 there was a paparazzi pic, shameful paparazzi, who had who snapped her on the beach listening to music on the MZS1. If I can find it while I'm editing this video, I will show you the photo. Should I just Google Alizé and MiniDisc or Alizé and bikini? We'll see. Don't know where I got this one. Guess eBay or secondhand. The MZR500. This one is very reminiscent of the earlier models we saw. Again, 1 AA battery. Not the loudest one to open, a very yellowish screen, and also MD-LP, so 4 CDs on 1 MD. Yeah, this is around the same time as my very first, I forgot the name again, the MZR 700. This is the only ones that I got that didn't function, that didn't work anymore. And I remember, well, the seller was kind enough to be honest and said it doesn't work anymore. It's just for parts. But I said, I don't care. I think it was just like 10 or 15. I just wanted it because it's a model I did not have. This is the MZN 505 Type R. And what does Type R mean? No idea. Isn't that a game for the N64? R-Type? Type R? R-Type. This has something new. It has a hype sticker saying up to 32 times USB connection high-speed transfer in ATRAC 3, MP3, WMA, and WAVE. So that's cool. I think this is the first one that could also or was compatible with WAVE, so the lossless audio codec. Another one that's reminiscent of the ones we saw, the MZE310. Oh, it's an E, so that means it's not recordable. Oh, so I forgot one. This is a non-recordable one. Yeah, G protection for MDLP, but not recordable. So just a player. Made in Malaysia. Huh, I thought they were all made in Japan. Oh well, made in Malaysia. Cool. Just 5 more to go. Another Type R. I really don't know what Type R means. The MZR501. No, sorry. The MZR40. Damn! You're a protzer, Julian. The MZR410. Hehe. Recording MD Walkman. With a 1.2 digital sound preset. Another recorder. Just one AA battery. Never tried it, but I think it still works. This one's from a friend of mine from class, Quinten Abadir. Very cool machine. It's a little broken, the glass from the display panel. This was broken when I got it from him, but he gave it to me for free, so can't complain. Very cool machine. Lovely knob where you had to press in the middle for the enter. Also USB compatible. And just one AA battery. This is the MZN707 and also Type R. Again, what's Type R? One of my favorites design-wise. I just love how it looks. It's really like it's one of the thinnest recorders I've ever seen. Very cool. The MZR55. I just love the very rectangular buttons. The old MD Walkman logo. Yeah, this one has a chewing gum battery, but it can be extended with a battery pack. So for maximum compatibility on the road. And this one has a weird button that I've never seen before. There's a clock set, so apparently there was also a clock. This is, I think, the first one that's also a clock. And a mic sensitivity, high-low. So I'm guessing this one's more suited to journalists. Because who needs a clock and who needs mic sensitivity? Perhaps also private detectives. Final two. The MZR91 with a synchro rec on off button. Again, no idea what it means. Well, synchro rec, I'm guessing synchronized recording, so probably ease between CD and MD or ease between vinyl and MD, no idea. This is not done. I don't think this is one I would never buy myself. I mean, it is thin enough, but it's not the nicest design-wise. Weird buttons, weird color, weird yellowish hue on the display. Oh, it does sound great when you open it. Very loud. And last but certainly not least, a very gorgeous one in terms of design, the MZR900. Great. Very thin, very minimalistic buttons. A lovely, what is it? Damn, I forgot. Oh, what's the name? Damn, I also have it on my Laserdisc player. Jog dial? No, that's not a jog dial. I have no idea. It's cool. It's a cool dial. Anything weird? No. Just line in a... Oh, well, there's a dedicated charge button. Well, no, that's just a stop button. Stop is mostly combined with charge. There's a... Well, this is quite cool. There's two. So there's a... Let's call it the jog dial, even if it's not. A jog dial to select the tracks and to select the menu options. And very funny that it should say digital recording. Well, yeah, that's what they all are since '92. Made in Japan. And again, the synchro rec and the chewing gum battery. And is there room for battery expansion? Yeah, there's the battery expansion. So yeah, that concludes my MiniDisc talk. So currently I'm still using my second one. It's amazing, 19 years and it still works. In a future video we'll talk about the MiniDiscs themselves, so the discs. And perhaps in a third video I can talk about, I have some accessories like what's it called, the remotes. I think I have some officially licensed carrying cases, some bits and pieces. So let's make it a trilogy of MiniDisc appreciation videos. Until we meet again, keep spinning those MiniDiscs.